They got to learn. They got to learn. I think they're the players we have right now, so they got to learn. And like I said, we just didn't execute. But it shouldn't even came down to that. And like I said, we made some bad decisions, fouling, culvert. We had it as a 2-point game with 1 minute to go, I think. He was taking a tough shot, and we bailed him out. So just little things that add up. But let's give them credit. I mean, they're a good basketball team. They were fighting. They were fighting, and we were fighting. And so two teams that went at it.
And Tech's leading the nation in field goal percentage. How tough is that, to get off a shot in that situation on those guys against a set defense?
Nah, we should be able to get a shot off. We got shots off during the whole game, so.
Daniel obviously got in foul trouble, had a big second half. What did you think of his game? And the fact you guys were able to lead at halftime.
Well, that's what I was proud of. I was proud of the other guys stepped up and played. Gabe and whether it be Adrio, that group that was out there. Keyshawn, we had probably about 4 freshmen out there, in an environment like this here. So it's a learning. To me, it's a learning experience for these guys. And so I was proud of those guys. And then of course Dan came in and did his thing in the second half.
You guys really.
Welcome in. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio as we come to you live here each and every day on KDSJ 479. Is that what it is? Producer, is that your call letters? Oh, he just shaking his head on this Monday. He ain't got much to say. I'm going to get something out of him today, but we're going to get a lot out of this show. Big show planned. We gave you a little audio of Arkansas head basketball coach Mike Anderson as they were not so lucky in the win column as they dropped a road win in the Big 12 SEC Challenge, 67-64 in Lubbock, Texas. Also, too, the SEC was not able, Demetrius, in the 10 games to even it. Big 12 wins the SEC Big 12 Challenge 6-4. But we got a big show planned. Arkansas women continue to wake people up. That's a new jig word, ain't it, Demetrius, in the younger kids' language. They're waking people up. Well, anyway, they came away from Florida yesterday with an 83-73 win, and we're going to catch up with Arkansas assistant women's basketball coach Todd Schaefer. Time to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. We'll see what Todd has to say about the 2 big games they have coming up this week, and then we're going to continue on and bring in, Arkansas's paying homage to that 1994 national championship season, and we thought we'd catch up with one of those very important pieces to that season. Number 12, we called him C-Mac, Clint McDaniel. He'll be up at 1:30 to talk about his induction to the Arkansas Hall of Fame, just the feelings, and we'll talk about this young basketball team and what he thinks is in store. And then it's time to talk to Demetrius and myself at 1:45, but we're going to let you hear a little audio from Connor Nolan. He'll explain how things are going with the football, baseball, how that's being juggled between he and both programs. We'll hear that up, and if you want to chime in that hour, you can do so on all topics. Coach Schaefer, Clint McDaniel, Connor Nolan, you can do so at 1:45, and you can catch us 479-601-7400. That's going to get you in. But I want to bring in my guy, my producer and co-host, the man behind the scenes, Demetrius. What's up, my man?
What's up, Pat?
You talking now?
Yeah, I got a little bit. You kind of threw me off about the call letters.
Arkansas drops the 67-64 road test for yet still this young basketball team. Played quite well, but what were some of the takes that you can take away from this if you're Coach Anderson in that ball club?
That you know the answer. I think it really boils down to getting Daniel Gafford the ball.
I agree, but I still think, it's a first every time they take the court. Through every situation, they're going to continue to, grow as a team. But we're going to step away, and we're going to start stepping in to that 1994 national championship team. We're going to take you to Charlotte and give you audio and video of that semifinal game, Arkansas versus Arizona. Here's some of those clips, and then following that, Arkansas women's assistant coach Todd Schaefer. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
They've arrived. inside the college basketball's greatest stage, the Final Four. Here in Charlotte, Arizona and Arkansas in one semifinal, followed by Florida and Duke. But first, it'll be Arizona and Arkansas. Many feel the Razorbacks the heavyweight here at the Final Four. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim. The 1994 Final Four is underway in Arkansas. Thurman over Geary. Geary is a defensive specialist, but Thurman a foul on a push. Thurman, no call. Yep, definitely pushed right in the midsection. Reeves ahead, lays it up, score it, and a blocking call.
I think the guys are a little bit tight right now, and I think we're looking at a game in the 80s.
They reject it on Williamson. Some pass to Reeves, who lays it in with the left hand.
How about that? He takes the ball in on one side, puts it up perfectly with the right. The guard.
And Williamson right off the front of the rim.
Down the inside.
Oh, gets on track, and that's probably an important one for his confidence after that 0 for 10er.
That's right. Did not have a field goal in the last ball game win over Missouri.
Williamson again down on the blocks, and you're right, Billy, starting to get a little flow now.
As we how the game is being played.
Stoudemire, they gave him the three. Followed up by Gary. You could see him setting up for it. Said we could attack more when we had Crawford. Now we'll go more zone, and look at the finger roll by Blair on the follow-up.
Again, no block out.
5-point Arizona lead. That matches Arkansas's largest deficit of the tournament. And a three-pointer at the other end by Corey Beck.
Just knocking O's around inside.
Williamson terrific, but following it up.
You're going to see some more quickness, some interesting matchups.
Stewart. Don't be deceived by that size. 6'9", he can really fire it from three. Reeves.
Tempo picking up right now as Arkansas goes small, matches up better, changes the complexion of the game with his quickness.
McDaniel. Wow, what a roll now by the Razorbacks.
And Jim, we saw McDaniel come in.
Stoudemire underneath to Flanagan. Good pass.
Great dribble penetration, beat the defense.
Williamson at the other end. They obviously saw something in the film coming into this game. With that pass, he'll fire it. Don't worry. And that big body of Corliss Williamson just set up the follow-up on that one.
He didn't even feel Stoudemire on his arm. Just went. Another look opposite by Arkansas.
Corliss. They can't stop him. Corey Williams from off the bench with a three-pointer. Oh, look at this one. Unbelievable.
Well, Reeves can't believe it himself. Despite the scouting report, he's actually laughing because he realized that. Oh, how about the best play so far for Lute Olson in the 80s?
It was a two-pointer.
Arizona did not have Gary can explode, can he?
Ball all the way.
Terrific hustle.
Stoudemire looking for his first. Blair picks up the loose kick and brings it under 10.
Nice crossover, because I think that he would have had that shot blocked by Robinson and he put it up.
Daniel said, hey, you going to leave me open? I'm going to cost you three. Oh, feeling confident.
Three jumpers he's hit from the court.
Welcome back to our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. We come to you live each and every day here on KDS State 479. And to continue on, there's some really good things happening on the Hill, and nothing better than women's college basketball, Razorback style. So we thought we'd catch up with the guy behind the scenes, staff member that's making this state really proud, Coach Todd Schaefer. Todd, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Hey, great to be here, Pat. Thanks for having me.
Let's get off into it, Todd. A lot of success, 16-5, 5-2 in the SEC. How good of a feeling is it in year two for this program?
Man, Pat, just honestly happy for our players. they put a tremendous amount of work into this. Happy for our staff, and Coach Neighbors, and just the amount of work that since, guess what, about almost 2 years ago, April, when we all got here, there was a tremendous amount of work to do when we got here. Inherited a challenging situation, and to be sitting here, like you said, 16 wins before February 1st, 5 conference wins already, probably exceeding anybody's expectations in terms of success, but it's been an incredible journey so far, and have enjoyed every minute of working with the staff and working with these just great group of kids that we've got.
Todd, talk about how, just how proud are you, being from the state of Arkansas, coached high school ball within the state, to come home to the flagship university and be a part of, waking up of this program, a program that I consider to be a sleeping giant. How special is that to you to watch this transformation take place?
Well, it's been a lot of fun so far, and probably no more fun than, when it's Monday night and we go on the road and, beat, Tennessee, one of the most historically successful programs, in the country. A team still full of, high school All-Americans, on their roster. And the amount of people after that game, because it was on national TV on a Monday night, on Big Monday as part of their big package, the amount of people that reached out, not only to myself and to the rest of the coaching staff, but probably the amount of people that reached out to our players. It was probably the first time that you realize that you are working in a place that an entire state supports. And, again, because of the things we know that we're the, only Power 5, major university in the state, no pro sports, that whole deal. That was probably the first time that you really realized the amount of people that were paying attention to us and starting to pay attention to us. And quite frankly, that night, there was probably people watching us that had not ever watched us. Because it was a Monday night, because it was Tennessee, and there wasn't anything else on. We got an opportunity to play in some living rooms and on some iPads and some iPhones, and probably we wouldn't have had those opportunities. And for our players to pull that game out and win that game was probably the first time I realized, man, this has got a chance to be a lot of fun, moving forward as we continue to build the program and continue to win more big games like that.
When you're looking at that ball game, Ty, the thing that stuck out to me was, players like Malika Monk, Bailey Zimmerman, Kiera Williams, and Jalen Mason, 4 young ladies that played a major role in that game that had come through the previous 2 years before you guys got here and made, are making such a difference. The maturity level and just the infusion that they've shown over the previous 2 years. Malika Monk, Todd, to me, is playing a senior season that you can only dream of. The way she's taking command, and even into yesterday's game, 25 points. Talk about Malika and the way her senior year and her leadership of this team has, been a big part of what's taking place right now.
It was, Pat, neat for all those Arkansas kids that we have to be a part of what we got going on and to be a part of, what happened in Tennessee last Monday night. We carried that on, in home against Alabama the other night and taking it back on the road yesterday to complete 3 games in 6 days. Very difficult, 6 days, for our program. But so there's a lot of all those Arkansas kids to kind of be a part of the rejuvenation and, the continued, success of our team and our program. But, Mal is such a fantastic player. Mal's not a leader by verbal, example. She's not a talkative kid. So, we've just talked to her about the best way she can lead is just go out and perform and be consistent. And I think that's the thing that she's, as the years gone on, she's been more and more consistent with her play on the court and, not only getting herself, involved in what's going on, but getting her teammates involved when it's necessary. Because, she's not a verbal guy. She's not a verbal leader. She's not a talking kid. She's pretty quiet. Funny, but, they're pretty quiet, when it comes to the basketball aspect of that stuff. But, so to see her, mature, to see her go from being a good player on a not very good team, for the last few years, now being a good player on a good team, that's a level of maturity that we were, needing in order to take this step this quickly. And, she's certainly done her part, in helping us get to the point where we're at today.
Todd, this isn't a team of, national top 50, top 100 young ladies. Chelsea Dungy transfers in. She's a young lady that came in highly sought. Basically a team full of, hard hat, grit girls. Talk about that mentality, and because I see a different team. It seems like in the second half, in the past, it even goes back to last year, Todd, the girls would get 10 points down and just would never seem to be settled in. This is a different team. What seems to be the difference, that they've been able to kind of knuckle down, in that fourth quarter, basically from the 7-minute mark on?
I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Neighbors and just the way that he instills confidence, in all of our players, and the things that we do in practice every day, the challenges that we give them, the way we officiate practices, which they hate and always argue. Those things, the way the positions that he puts them in to succeed and fail in practice allows us to just carry a boatload of confidence, whether that's playing from ahead, whether that's playing from behind. We've done those things in practice. We've put our players in those situations now for, a year and a half. I think from a personality standpoint, I think the influx of confidence that kids like Alexis Tolfrey, Chelsea Dungy, Atiana Golden, those three kids particularly, bring to our team, helps those guys that have been here before and gone through the struggles that Farrell, Jalen, Shira, and Bailey, particularly those guys that have been here the longest. I think that the mixture of kind of, the old and the new has finally, the chemistry's getting better.
Right.
We had to go through our struggles with that, early on, dating back a few months. But now I think they believe in each other, and they believe in Coach Neighbors and what he does and the type of program that he's got and the things that he expects of them. And the fact that, like yesterday as an example, we're down. He called the earliest timeout I've ever seen or been around to call. We're down 7-0, 2 minutes into the game. And he was not heading in a very good direction, and he called the earliest timeout I think he's ever called as a coach. And, but it wasn't to yell at him. It wasn't to, to berate them. It was just to simply try to stop a run and, challenge them to change their behavior. And it didn't change right away. We go down 22-7, I think, early in the second quarter before we kind of started putting things together. But at no point in time is there panic. At no point in time is there a change in his demeanor. And I think it takes time for that to change your culture, your team. But I think now they realize that we're here to help them get through whatever challenges that they face during a game. And sometimes it's coming from behind. Sometimes it's hanging on to a lead.
Right.
And sometimes, like Tennessee, we played, we had to lead the whole game, and then they came back on us and took the lead late in the fourth quarter, and then we came back on them. I think just now it's just a confidence that no matter what the game throws at us, we're capable of overcoming whatever that is. And I think that's the biggest part of why we've experienced some success, down the stretch in games here over the last month.
Well, I know you're going to get showered with love this week as you guys have two really big games. You start off this Thursday night, 7 o'clock versus Georgia. This is a team, Todd, that I believe finished third in the league or, somewhere I believe in the top 4. They're coming off some injuries, had a big disappointing loss, I believe, versus Texas here recently. What are some of the keys you guys are going to have to do to continue on and get win number 6 in the conference on Thursday night?
Well, I think we're just going to have to, continue to stay focused, continue to play with, that proverbial chip on our shoulder that although we have gotten off to a fantastic start, we haven't accomplished anything yet. 5 wins in the league is great, at 5-2, but at the end of the day, 5 wins isn't enough to get to where this team wants to go. So we just have to keep that mentality. We'd love to keep the momentum going, but we know that the schedule obviously is going to get much tougher over the next 5 weeks. We are no longer a team that maybe somebody would overlook.
Good point.
So we're going to take everybody's best shot for sure, preparation-wise, we have a number of challenges, but just keeping our focus, keeping that chip on our shoulder, continuing to prepare like we always do, and really trying not to change. Don't let success change us. And the little bit of success that we had is not enough, for us to get to where we want to go. So, let's continue to do the same things that got us to where we're at today. Let's not change any of that. So let's not let success change us. If we do that and make a bunch of shots, Pat, I think, we'll continue to like the outcomes.
Well, Todd, I've liked the outcomes, and hopefully Thursday won't be any different. You guys continue to do a great job on the Hill as you're waking up the country as far as women's Razorback basketball. But as always, my man, have a blessed one, and thanks for taking time out on the Hill.
Pat, thanks for all your support and everything you do for us. Appreciate you.
That was Arkansas women's assistant coach Todd Schaefer with quite the info. I mean, these women, they are, Demetrius, I'm telling you, they're waking them up in women's college basketball, 16-5. I mean, they're going places that they hadn't been in a while, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon in the neighborhood. As that basketball program is only going to go up, recruit a great class, the 11th rated class, players like Marquisha Davis, Destiny Obor, those type of players, tremendous ball players, and it's only going to get better as we're going to continue on. We said we'd have him for you. Now we're going to bring on one of the starters of the 1994 National Championship ball game that took place versus Duke, 76-72 in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's up next, Clint McDaniel, but we're going to let you see a little of the goings-ons during that night we all remember. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
At the Final Four for the third time, and they all drew the championship game assignment. We're underway for the national championship. Double up, leave Capel open. Freshman launches a three. 5-0 Duke.
Capel coming off that brilliant Purdue. What put this club in the Final Four?
The pass got away from Wiley Thurman, good shooter. Arkansas on the board with a 2. Here's Beck. He'll take it to the paint. Good move.
Beck does not look to shoot enough, according to Nolan Richardson. You can see he has the ability with that power body that's trimmed down to 190 from 220 to do it.
Great dish. Capel to Hill. Hill has it stripped. Thurman.
Great defensive play.
Good passing. Williamson to Stewart. That's what we talked about early, Billy. Corliss showing some really great passing skills here at the Final Four.
And not only makes the money.
Underneath Beck on the block.
Second time today, Beck has taken a guard into the hole. Once on the field, where the way the game's being called.
McDaniel. Fired up 7 threes in the semifinal as Lang hits from the inside.
How about that? Both teams scoring off inbound play. He has to stay in the game. You've got to play 30-minute games. And there's one that Mike Krzyzewski wanted.
Collins with a three-pointer at the other end. Clark batted it in. Solid minute off the bench again. Finds it in Lang. And now Arkansas has tied its largest deficit of the entire tournament. They're down 5. With 10.2 to go. Daniel. One more.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day on KDSJ 479. And real quick, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay and Associates, the Baymont Hotel and Locomotion. And without further ado, let's get to the main thing of the main thing. And let's bring in a good buddy of mine and soon to be Arkansas Hall of Famer, SEC legend, Clint McDaniel. C-Mac, welcome to the Hill, my man.
Hey. Appreciate it. Where the applause at? Only no applause?
Hey, we should have gave you a lot of Woo Pig Suey throughout the show. And we'll do that throughout the show as an applause for this interview. But Clint, talk about it. About a week ago, you got that call that you would be in the Arkansas Hall of Fame. How special was that to you? And, just describe that moment for the listeners.
Anytime you receive something that you're not expecting, it's a special, shocking, surreal feeling. It was something that I never expected. I watched some of my great teammates receive that award, and just didn't feel that I met those standards. But some people thought I did, so I'm accepting of it, and I'm proud of it, and thankful.
Coming from Tulsa, Booker T. Washington High School, grew up around Nolan Richardson, and he recruited you to Arkansas. Talk about that journey to get to this point, Clint. You had to sit out your first year of college. Talk about how tough that was, and just all the things that went into everything that you went to become what you are today, which is also an SEC legend.
Well, it was. At Booker T. And just being in Tulsa, I think Coach Richardson kind of brought that, that up and down style of basketball that pretty much, shocked the whole state and especially the city. And as a middle schooler and elementary, I pretty much followed that, and the coaches that I had at that time, they pretty much followed that pattern. So it was something that I was always accustomed to, and I actually committed to Tulsa my junior year in high school. And throughout my junior year and leading into my senior year. And one of the reasons I did that was because of Coach Richardson.
You come here to Fayetteville, Todd Day, Oliver, Lee Mayberry, that successful class, they move on. You guys are coming in that 1992-93 season as the unknowns. Talk about, just that experience. And, we all know what happened the first, those last 2 years. But talk about that young basketball team that made everybody take notice at such a young age.
We were young, but we were very fortunate. I think, like myself, Elmer Martin, Ray Biggers, we got a chance to play with those guys. Not very much, but we got a chance to play with those guys and see how they work. They kind of gave us, the next level of how this basketball is supposed to be played under Coach Richardson. And also, Corey Beck and Dwight Stewart, they didn't play, but they were on campus. And they were around us, and they played pickup games, and we got a chance to sit back and watch and learn how those guys did things. And when it was time for us, we already had a good idea of what we needed to do in order to continue that tradition.
When you look at this basketball team, Clint, from your vantage point under Coach A, this is a really, really young team. I think they're the second youngest team in college basketball. Coach takes a lot of, flack for sometimes this team not playing up to standard, but due to the youth, I think that, contributes greatly to that. Could you tell the listeners really in depth just how hard it is to come in and play as a true freshman when you have such a young team where there's no seniors around you at all?
That's very tough. Even the big guy, he's still young. The role he played last year, he didn't have a role where he had to use his skill sets in order to carry a team. All he had to do was just be an athlete because he had such great guards of team to go out and just play. But now you have to use your skill set along with all of the other young guys who every day is something new for them. It doesn't matter if it's been 10 games, 20 games. Every new arena you walk in, it's all new to them. So the experience is just going to come by them playing because there's no older people around to show them or to tell them what this is going to be like, so they can have some kind of idea when they're just laying in their bed thinking about the next day, the next game, the next practice.
When you look at this ball club, what do you think this team needs to, be better at? to get over the humps. Clint, 6 losses by a combined 22 points. What do you think that one thing is that can kind of help this young basketball team maybe break through in some of those clutch games?
Well, right now it's just about confidence. I mean, when you lose those such close games, and when you're really not competitive in some games, and the inconsistency shows the youth. So it's about being consistent, gaining your confidence, trusting in your staff and trusting in each other, because again, your first year playing with each other, so you just have to trust in each other and believe in each other, and then just go out and compete. And once you just start competing and have the consistency, then things will start to change. You will start believing in each other and looking at your brother next to you and trusting that he has your back. And those are some of the things some of the small things that can be improved immediately.
25 years later, from winning that national championship, that I guess a real moment in Charlotte, North Carolina for a 22-year-old kid. What sticks out to this day as you're about to embark on the 25-year ceremony coming this March in Bud Walton?
The biggest thing that sticks out to me is the relationships. I mean, the relationships are priceless, that you can have 25 to 30 people that you went through that journey with, and along with your family, and that you can just sit back 25 years later and just kind of reminisce and just share all those moments that if you went to just, if I'd have went somewhere and averaged 20 points a game, I would never have a chance to come back to those relationships that I had when I was a 20-year-old or 19-year-old teenager. So the relationships is the biggest part of the biggest excitement, along with winning the national championship. But getting to see people that you kind of grew up with from a child, from a young boy to a man with, and see their families and everything. That's something that I cherish.
So any particular things, any special plans will be taking place that weekend that maybe you guys have that you'd like everyone to know about?
Well, the university is going to have the university is going to do what they're going to do. They're going to celebrate. It's going to be great to stay. But me personally, I'm throwing a party at Grubbs on Dixon Street after the game. Well, not after the game, but from 10 to 2. So we're going to celebrate what we're going to do as players and as we did, and we hope everybody come out and join us and have a good time, and we're going to turn up, and we're going to enjoy this 25 years, and hopefully we can see each other again in another 25
Am I on the VIP list?
You on the VIP list. No question.
All right. Well, Clint, the last thing I want to ask you, and I want everyone to know we're talking with former Arkansas starting point guard on the national, two guard, I should say. He was a great shooter. Clint shot the ball.
I was a combo. What they call him today, they call him two-way players today.
Combo guard, Clint McDaniel. We're talking with Clint McDaniel here on OTH. Lastly, what's the uniqueness in your mind when you think about it all, about being an Arkansas Razorback?
It was special for me. It was special because I got to sit out and watch other great players become who they are, and so to actually go through it and then become that and just enjoy and be embraced by the whole state and the city and around the country really. And so that's what makes everything so special. And I mean, people still to this day say you're my favorite player. You remind me of this, and it's just I'm very proud of the records I hold. Very proud of being a part of a Hall of Fame coach. Very proud of being at the University of Arkansas. So it's just a proud moment for me.
And lastly, before I let you go, there's a topic that's been on my mind for years, and that's the Nolan Richardson court. Are we at that time in Razorback basketball that coach needs to get his name on that court?
Let's do it. Let's celebrate people while they're here. Let's don't wait for them to be too old to enjoy it for themselves or for their other family members not to enjoy and hold and cherish that. Let's do it. It's time. It's going to happen. Let's just do it in a time where everybody can celebrate it.
Well, Clint, nobody did it better than you at the combo guard spot. I was very appreciative to watch your career. I got a chance to watch you grow, both on and off the court. And, I want to say congratulations on this prestigious honor. Long overdue. And Thanks for taking time on the hill, my man. You SEC legend.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all doing a good job, and I'll see you guys on September 2nd and 3rd, and definitely at the party.
All right.
All right, y'all take care.
That was Clint McDaniel, former Arkansas combo guard of the national championship team 1994 and the runner-up in 95. Soon to be a Arkansas Hall of Famer and an SEC legend. But we're going to step away. We caught up with Connor Nolan. It seems to be everybody wants to know how this thing is going to work out between football and basketball. We caught up with Connor, and here's what he had to say.
Bouncing back and forth, but how's it feel to be kind of in the rhythm of throwing a baseball?
It feels good to be back. Obviously, it's been a busy 3 weeks being in baseball and football, but it's going good, and definitely ready to get back in baseball season.
Throwing wise, how are you feeling making that adjustment from throwing a football to throwing a baseball? What's that adjustment like, and how smooth of a transition has it been?
It's been pretty smooth. I mean, it hasn't taken very long. Obviously, I got out of football probably 2 weeks into December, so I started throwing a baseball pretty early this year, and really transition went very smooth, and I'm back in the groove of things.
You threw on Monday in the bullpen. How did it feel? Where are you at right now with your pitches as you're talking to Coach Hobbs, and where do you want to be at when the season starts?
I'm probably 85% right now. I mean, just getting the feel back and more bullpens and facing live hitters, obviously, which is a thing I haven't done yet. So today I'll get to face live batters, and that's really a big part of my transition into being pitch ready for the first game.
I know that Van Horn's been really impressed with the way that you've kind of come in and been able to pitch. The possibility of being a starter or being a big part of the weekend rotation, what would that mean?
It means a lot. I mean, obviously I'm not too worried about that. I'm just here to help the team. And anyway, if that's a starter, if that's a reliever, whatever my part is, I'm not really too concerned about it, just as long as I get in there and do my job.
How much have they talked to you about your schedule when the spring rolls around and the balance between what you're going to do baseball and football-wise?
It's been a lot of scheduling. Obviously, Coach Morris and Coach Van Horn have talked multiple times about what the plan is, and they've kind of come together. But I mean, we're just working together and kind of figuring it out right now. And it's the first year I've done it, so it's kind of just working as we go.
Do you anticipate there might be some days where you practice in the morning, play baseball at night, anything like that?
I think it'll come. I mean, as spring ball starts, obviously we're going to have practice, I think, 3 times a week, so there's going to be some overlap there and have baseball and football on the same day.
There have been some instances where, like Kyler Murray and Jameis Winston, they'd get on a jet and fly back and forth. I mean, you foresee anything like that for you? Or?
If it comes to that, I definitely think that's probably an option. I mean, we're going to have spring practice, and obviously the spring game is going to be a big thing that I need to make, so that's it'll be a lot of fun to make that.
David said that I think you were driving home maybe the day after the Missouri game, and you were driving by the stadium, and he texted you, or you texted him. Do you remember that? And could you take me through that?
Definitely. We got back into town. I think that was Thanksgiving, so I went back for I think 1 day, and I came back, and I was just getting ready to text him, and he called me just to ask what I was doing, and I kind of just wanted to get ahead of things and get ready to go transition to baseball.
Did you get transitioned into baseball pretty quick after football season ended?
No doubt. It was about 4 days.
Okay.
3 or 4 days, so it happened very quick.
Okay.
How many years did you play football and baseball the same?
I started playing football when I was 7, so I started baseball at like 3. So obviously there's about a 4-year gap there, but I'm 19 now, so that's 12 years.
The mechanics of the football and the baseball, they started about 35 years ago in the major league using the football for arm strength and development in baseball. Is that something you've done before, or is there much difference? I
think the football actually does add conditioning. I mean, I don't come into baseball just feeling like I'm out of shape. I mean, I feel pretty good when I'm coming in, and I mean, it doesn't take much time to get into shape. It's already there. I mean, the football's pretty heavy, so going from that weight to a less weight of a baseball, it really doesn't.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, as we come to you each and every day here on KDSJ 479 from Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. And we had a real great show as we close it out with audio from Connor Nolan talking about how the football, basketball arrangement's going to work out. And baseball. I'm not basketball, baseball. Football and baseball. I know Chad likes multiple sport athletes, so I'm trying to make him play. Yeah. Maybe a little bit too small to play SEC guard, I would think. But not small enough to throw that baseball 96 miles an hour and sling that football about 50, 60 yards. I think we can do good with that. But just a little audio from Connor. I know a lot of fans are wondering, and what better way, Demetrius, than to let our listeners hear from Connor Noll himself as to how things are working out. But we're going to close that out as we have to make our way to media availability. Coach Mike Anderson today will be leaving here and heading to his press conference. We'll have audio from players and Coach Anderson for tomorrow night's tip-off, 7 p.m. in Bud Walton Arena as they host the Georgia Bulldogs. Arkansas 2-4 in the league, 11-8 on the year, looking to get their third conference win and looking to get back into the win column for that ball club. I think Coach Anderson and that staff are really looking forward to getting this team back out on the court. But that's going to wrap it up real quick. I want to thank all our guests. Todd Schaefer, assistant women's basketball coach for the University of Arkansas. He came on, and there's a lot of good vibes going on in the neighborhood. Thanks, Todd, for coming on. And also, C-Mac, Clint McDaniel, future Arkansas Hall of Famer, SEC legend, will be honored this year, March 2nd in Bud Walton. 25th year anniversary of the national championship. Arkansas Razorbacks want to give a shout out also to Lindsay and Associates with the location and